What's up? Bet you weren't expecting me at this hour. Yeah, I'd been a bit tired of just sitting around in January scornfully watching the big boys fight for old Lombardi. Not that it ever ends the way I wanted to, anyway. Before I get into this year's playoffs, I have a few questions to ask. Why is the playoff bracket 14 teams now? What did the second seed do to deserve to be thrust into wildcard weekend? Who was the asshole who thought playing an odd number of games in a season was a good idea? Will any of my teams ever win a championship? Will I still be alive to see it happen? Will you just get the damn vaccine? Do I have the mental fortitude to get through this without going full Vikings fan mode? Since I'm the unluckiest little squid boy on the planet, I should be able to force my team to the Super Bowl by continually betting against them, right? But for now, let's just see what I think will happen and why it's obviously going to be Buffalo beating San Fran. Whoops, you did not just hear that. 3, 2, 1, go. Wildcard weekend. ESPN wants to call it Super Wildcard Weekend, but fuck him and fuck the schedule the NFL didn't want to announce until after the last game of the season. I'm starting in the AFC with the most intriguing matchup of the round. The Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Baltimore Ravens for an immediate rematch of last Sunday. The only question I have about this game is if Lamar Jackson returns in time for playoff football, but I guess the Ravens flock is cynical like I am, so his outlook isn't looking so good. It's seeming like they don't even want him on their team for some reason. But let's say Lamar does come back, then what? Cincinnati has been the far hotter team down this last stretch of the season. I think the Kitties continue their dominance of the AFC North and put up the exact same score as they did last week, beating Baltimore 27-16. The next match I'm looking at is the Buffalo Bills going against the Miami Dolphins. I can't believe the Dolphins made it into the big dance. They've been looking awfully sus as of late, even in a situation last week where they needed to beat the Jets Jets at home and hope the dreaded Patriots would lose to Buffalo to make it in. They got lucky. They need more than luck to get past Buffalo in the playoffs. They sure as hell can't rely on Tua, especially given the aftermath of his concussion. I mean, did you not see him versus Green Bay? Vice City is going to be double fucked in a few short years, and it starts with the Bills upending their relatively strong season with a 36-20 showing at Highmark. Following that madness, the Jacksonville Jaguars welcomed the Los Angeles Chargers for a game I'm actually intrigued in. Does one team actually look stronger on paper than the other? Because I'm not seeing it here. Both teams have found ways to win games on a regular. The Chargers are probably going to lean heavily on Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, while the Jags will likely have Travis Etienne Jr. to get the ball around. I'm thinking those guys are going to have field days offensively. So who's going to prevail here? You ready? 35-34 Jags. I've noticed Jacksonville has gone on a bit of a run lately. You can thank them not having Urban Meyer as a head coach or Trevor Lawrence maturing into the leader this team needs, but they've already logged a few statement wins when they needed them. Plus, it's going to take a little while for the Bolts to shake off the shit luck that followed them from San Diego. Whoops. Over on the NFC side of things, first we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Dallas Cowboys. A part of me wants to feel for Tommy Terrific in the situation he's in right now. He's on a team with the losing record. He just had his first losing season as a starting quarterback. He just got humiliated by fucking Atlanta of all teams last week. And yet here he is now, once again the undeserving champion of the NFC sucks, having to play against a team that actually has Super Bowl aspirations for once. And yet they're slight home underdogs. All Dak Prescott has to do is not make a bazillion mistakes to advance. Here lies the crux of our problem. I have no idea how Dak will do here. He seemed to lay an ostrich egg last week against Washington, and now he's got to play the same Buccaneers squad that ate him up and spit him out in week 1. I also just learned that Tom Brady is 7-0 lifetime against Dallas. I know it's easy to ignore a stat like that when Tampon Bay is looking like the little rascals, but I'm going to pick the upset here just for shits and giggles. 20-14 bucks. The day before that, we have another quick rematch between the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants. What am I supposed to make of this Vikings team? A 13-win season good for a point differential of -3? What am I supposed to make of this game? They just played each other on Christmas Eve in a contest that probably could have gone the other way if not for a block punt here and or the longest field goal in Vikings history there. I guess it helps that they're playing in a fixed-roof stadium with the playoff atmosphere largely in their favor. Yeah, New York's got Saquon Barkley, who actually is a beast, and Daniel Jones has been extremely interception-averse this year, but Minnesota just has too much talent on offense compared to the football Giants. Of course, they'll never make it easy, it's gonna come down to the wire like it always does, but the Vikings just seem to have this knack for finding a way to win in these scenarios. As it stands as of Sunday night, I'm picking them to push on the spread, once again winning 27-24. I know, super original. Finally, there's the matter of the San Francisco 49ers playing host to the Green Bay the Seattle Seahawks. The only thing I feel I should say about this game is that the Niners right now are favored by 9.5 points. I'm thinking I'm going to see them as 11.5 point favorites shortly before the game kicks off. They've been legit the hottest team in the NFL since the end of October. They get to play a team they already beat twice earlier in the year, and Brock Purdy, also known as the latest Mr. Irrelevant, has been playing like the ultimate solution to the Niners quarterback question. I'm calling him to give Seattle quite the pounding en route to an easy 38-10 victory. This might have been a different story if Green Bay had just beat the Lions once, just saying. Anyway, for the divisional round, the Kansas City Chiefs, as if that's any surprise, draw the Jacksonville Jaguars for yet another rematch somehow. I kind of don't remember them playing the rest of the AFC sucks. I've noticed a gaping hole growing in the AFC's parity. No thanks to the continued dominance of Pat Mahomes, Kansas City is now gunning for their 5th straight AFC Championship appearance, and at least the 5th one where they'll be designated the home team. They're becoming the New Age New England Patriots. Accordingly, I'd love to see Jacksonville pull off another statement win at Arrowhead, but they've already lost to the Chiefs before, and Pat Mahomes is just built different, even without Tyreek Hill. Chiefs 27, Jags 17. I'd like to preface the upcoming Bills-Bengals matchup with this. Even though Damar Hamlin appears to be steadily improving and has remained in good spirits for the last week, these teams are going to be playing with heavy hearts, especially T. Higgins. It was just an awful situation for him to be thrust in, making a routine play, doing his job, and that happening as a result. I personally am glad he too has received support over the last week. There's still a football game to be played though. I think the only way this game can play out is by coming down to the wire. The Bills are a team with Super Bowl aspirations, the Bengals have been steadily rising to their own expectations. I'd like to see this game go into quadruple overtime. Notwithstanding how far-fetched that idea sounds, Buffalo's got a few things going for them here. They're playing at home, they're looking towards a grudge match against KC, and number 3 is sure to be supporting them through FaceTime. The Bills will win this one 36-33. If you don't want this to happen, you have no soul. So now we're back to the NFC side of things, with the Philadelphia Eagles getting to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Link, where no mortal wants to end up. I initially thought the Bucs were signing their death certificate at this development, but then I remembered Jalen Hurts got injured, so the first question is if he's playing or not. Apparently he was still in pain last week against the Giants squad that arrested all their starters. He didn't even have that great of a performance either. What if he re-aggravates his shoulder injury? Then the Eagles are in trouble. Yes, I'm willing to admit that they've beaten Tom Brady to win Super Bowl 52, but I'm not buying into their current prowess until they beat the Old Glory. I also think Tampa Bay is a lot better than people give him credit for. Black Sunday will happen all over again as the Bucs put away Philly 30-26. Notice that this score is a lot higher than last week's. Tom Brady's surely going to need to score a lot of points to have a chance in this one. I think he can do that. Then after that, we have the 49ers and Vikings, which will not end well at all. You only need to look at Minnesota's performances against Philadelphia, Dallas, and Green Bay this season to guess how this one's going to play out. Notice something? The words Vikings and defense don't mesh well. Truly, they're an offense-minded team, but what happens when they get stuffed by a team like the Niners? Yeah, no. They have to lose like 52-10 or something. No, I'll gladly take this beatdown and fuck off. Alright, Championship Sunday. On the AFC, we have Chiefs and Bills, so that means we have to go to the neutral site to play it. I have no idea where, but Bills Mafia will finally get some semblance of a shot at silencing the Chiefs. They're sure gonna need that since the neutral site will likely be climate controlled, so of course anything goes. Here's the dildo. Buffalo's got a hell of a lot to play for right now. They're not going to take this third chance to impeach the Chiefs lightly. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, let's be real, those two are superhuman. They have the playmaking ability to make a team like the Bills into a juggernaut. Remember last year when Mahomes tried to do way too damn much against Cincy? He's gonna have another one of those games here. Buffalo's D is gonna have a field day with Patty Pathetic. 30-17 Bills. Of course, then they'll have to wait a little while as the 49ers and Buccaneers take care of business, or do they? I'm not even going to bother with this one. When your team has one of the best running games in the league and is also perhaps the best at stuffing the opponent's running game cold, you've got a recipe for a lot of success. The Niners are that team. If they don't sink the Bucs by 3 scores, then we're living in bizarro world. 37-10 in favor of San Fran. I had my fun watching the Rams win the Lombardi Trophy for Matt's staff last year, but now that he's been seriously concussed, the doors have once again opened to my eternal suffering, with Super Bowl 57 in Arizona featuring the San Francisco 420,000 69ers and the Buffalo. To me, the Niners look like the most unstoppable team in the NFL, so it made plenty of sense to pick them as the NFC's it team. But let's be real. Everybody and their mother wants the Bills to win this thing. You can't tell me it's not going to happen either. I have plenty of reason to believe this team will finally get the monkey off their back. The NFL has plenty of reason to give them Lombardi right now. 4 words. Do it for Damar. Buffalo defeats San Francisco 28-25 to win the city its first Super Bowl. That was the easiest prediction I've ever made. Now excuse me while I go hold out for my cap-strapped hockey team to hopefully do something within the next 10 years. That reminds me, Joe Buck is awesome.